A 3-year-old child can completely change the emotional temperature of an entire home in less than 10 seconds. 10 seconds, that's all it takes. One moment, everything feels normal. Maybe you're pouring juice into a cup. Maybe you're tying tiny shoes. Maybe you're cleaning toys from the living room floor. Maybe you're walking through a grocery store. Maybe you're trying to leave the playground. Maybe you're preparing dinner. Maybe you're simply trying to survive another busy day. And then something tiny happens. So small, most adults would never even notice it. The blue cup isn't the blue cup. The banana breaks. The sock feels wrong. The toy doesn't work. The cookie breaks in half. The car seat buckle feels uncomfortable. A sibling touches something. The wrong spoon appears. A favorite shirt is still in the wash. Or maybe you simply say one tiny word, no. And suddenly, everything changes. Your 3-year-old freezes, their face changes, their body tightens, their tiny fists close, their breathing becomes faster, their eyes fill with tears, and then the storm begins. They drop to the floor, they scream, they cry, they kick, they throw, they refuse, they arch their back, they push your hands away, and in that moment, it doesn't feel like parenting anymore. It feels like chaos, raw, loud, public, emotionally exhausting chaos. And if we're honest, it doesn't just overwhelm children, it overwhelms adults too. Your heart beats faster, your jaw tightens, your shoulders rise, your breathing changes, your voice changes, and suddenly you become aware of something else, the people watching. The cashier, the stranger walking past, the other parent, the grandparents, the family member, the neighbor, the judgment, the looks, the silent opinions. And without even noticing, your parenting changes, your focus changes, your energy changes, your intention changes. You stop thinking, how do I help my child? And start thinking, how do I make this stop? Fast, now, immediately. And that single shift quietly changes everything, because from that moment, many parents stop leading and start reacting. Voices rise, words become sharper, movements become faster, threats appear, negotiations begin, bribes show up, frustration grows, and suddenly, instead of one overwhelmed nervous system, there are two. But here's the truth. Almost nobody tells parents. A 3-year-old tantrum is not bad behavior. It is not manipulation. It is not disrespect. It is not a child trying to control you. It is not a child trying to embarrass you. It is not a child trying to win. It is something far deeper, something biological, something developmental, something completely human. Because at 3 years old, a child can feel emotion long before they can control emotion. They can feel disappointment long before they can process disappointment. They can feel frustration long before they can regulate frustration. They can feel anger before they even understand what anger is. Imagine feeling everything at full intensity inside a tiny body with no emotional breaks. That is a 3-year-old. Big emotions, small body, immature brain, no internal pause button. And when parents understand that, everything changes. But here's where parenting cultures begin to separate. Across much of the Western world, when a child loses control, parents often ask, how do I stop this? How do I fix this? How do I end this? How do I make my child listen? How do I regain control? But in many Japanese homes, parents often ask something very different. Something quieter, something deeper, something most people never even notice. Not, how do I stop this? But, how do I stay calm inside this? And that one question may be the reason some children learn emotional control years earlier than others. And what you're about to hear today may completely change the next tantrum in your home. Because some of the habits many loving parents do every single day actually make tantrums longer, louder, harder. And one lesson near the end may completely change the way your child handles stress for the rest of their life. And before we go deeper, if you believe discipline is not about fear, not about punishment, not about control, but about shaping the human being behind the behavior, subscribe to Discipline Redefined. Because here, we don't just stop tantrums, we build emotionally strong children. Now, take a deep breath, because this first lesson changes everything. The first few seconds of a tantrum quietly shape everything that comes next. Not 5 minutes later, not after the screaming, not after the tears, not after the kicking. The first few seconds. Because in those first seconds, your child is not listening to your words. They are reading your nervous system. And this is where many loving parents make the same mistake. The child cries and instantly words begin. Fast words, concerned words, frustrated words, repeated words. Stop crying. You're okay. Use your words. We talked about this. Look at me. Calm down. Stop acting like this. People are watching. Do you want time out? Do you want me to count? Why are you doing this? And the parent thinks, I'm teaching, I'm correcting, I'm helping. But inside the child's brain, something completely different is happening. When emotions explode, logic gets quieter, language gets weaker, listening gets weaker, reasoning gets weaker. The emotional brain takes over, which means every extra word can feel like extra pressure. And pressure creates more pressure, so the child cries louder, pushes harder, kicks faster, screams longer, and the parent thinks, why isn't this working? But in many Japanese homes, something fascinating often happens. The parent becomes quieter, not louder, slower, not faster, softer, not stronger, lower, not bigger, because they understand something powerful. Children borrow energy before they borrow language. If your body says danger, their body feels danger. If your face says tension, their body feels tension. If your breathing says panic, their nervous system follows. But if your body says, I'm safe, I'm calm, I'm here, I'm not afraid of your feelings, something extraordinary begins. Not instantly, not magically, but biologically. The storm begins to slow. The breathing begins to change. The crying begins to soften. The eyes begin to reconnect. And what happens next may be even more powerful, because another Western habit quietly creates bigger tantrums, and almost nobody notices it. It usually looks like love. It looks helpful. It looks caring. It looks responsible. But sometimes it quietly weakens resilience. Your child struggles. The toy won't work. The puzzle doesn't fit. The block tower falls. The shoe feels wrong. The sleeve twists. The snack breaks. And before your child can even process frustration, adults rush in. Fix it, replace it, distract it, remove it, solve it, end it, immediately. And the child feels relief. Temporary relief, but something powerful gets lost. The opportunity to struggle safely, to feel frustration without fear, to breathe through discomfort, to survive difficult feelings, to discover I can do hard things. And in many Japanese homes, parents often pause, not ignoring, not abandoning, not neglecting, just pausing, watching, breathing, trusting, giving space. 5 seconds, sometimes 10, sometimes 20. And inside that silence, something incredible begins. A child tries again, adjusts, breathes, experiments, fails, tries again, and eventually succeeds. And in that moment, they don't just solve a toy problem, they build an identity. I can struggle. I can recover. I can stay with hard feelings. And that identity lasts a lifetime. But perhaps the biggest difference of all happens after the tantrum, after the tears, after the screaming, after the kicking, after the storm. Because many homes move on too quickly. No connection, no repair, no safety, no emotional closing, just back to life. But in many Japanese homes, the moment after the storm may matter most. A quiet hug, a soft hand, eye contact, silence, presence. No lecture, no shame, no punishment, just one message. Even your biggest feelings will never make you lose my connection. and that message may become your child's inner voice for life. So before you leave, think carefully. When your 3-year-old melts down, are you trying to control behavior or shape a nervous system? Because that answer changes everything. And if you believe calm children are built by calm adults, subscribe to Discipline Redefined, because discipline is not built in power, it's built in connection.